Okay, Heidi ho. So this is probably going to be the longest video I shoot in a very long time. It's the long form, I guess, catch up since the property roadshow I just did in Thailand. So I want to take into consideration the different locations, what I saw, what I found, the research I did, and give you an overview of things to look out for, things to think about when buying property in Thailand. So the first thing we need to establish is some ground rules. I think the first thing is to know that Thailand operates very differently to Australia. Certain things like timelines, kind of like, you know, for an example, if you send a lawyer an email in Australia, you'll probably get a result and an email back within a day. If you speak to an accountant, you'll probably get an email back within 24 hours. Thailand works on different timelines. Things aren't quite the same, and we need to know that, because when you're buying property or doing any business in Thailand, it could be frustrating for the Western participant. So we need to understand that. That's the first thing we need to set ground rule on. Secondly is the type of product we're looking at. So again, in this example of what we do at SPG, we are looking at condos, freehold condos, and we are looking at leasing. The conversation today is all about those freehold condos. The 17 days I spent there was all looking at condos. So the conversation today is about that. Owning 100% in your name, a freehold unit condo in Thailand. And we will talk about leasing at another time, but I want to keep our focus straight to the roadshow we just did. So they're kind of the ground rules here. So what did we do when we were there? So we were there 17 days, 16, 17 days, a little bit of a holiday, you know, a few days splattered with a bit of time off. But ultimately, we did Phuket, Pattaya, Hua Hin, and Bangkok, because I felt that would give us a good mix of different attributes that should meet our clients' goals. Be that a straight form investment property where you're looking for capital growth and yield, no different to what you would be doing in Australia. It could be a lifestyle property where you're using it some of the year yourself and maybe rent it to friends and family, or it could be retirement. It could be you're fully retiring in Thailand or partially retiring in Thailand. You know, you spend 6 months of the year there, 6 months of the year in Australia. So they're the different kind of clients we're looking at. Not forgetting, which I think is going to be one of our biggest, is golf, because of the nature of how strong golf is in Thailand. But we'll talk more about that. So let's start with what we saw overall in Thailand. We started in Phuket, and we made some really, really great relationships with some agents there who really took care of us and gave us a broad spectrum of the different types of property. Now, most of what we looked at in Phuket was off the plan, i.e. ready to go, a couple of months away, or even 2 years away. The second-hand market, we call it second-hand market, but buying second-hand property is quite minimal in the Phuket region. It's a robust space that's exploding with development, like probably the biggest developed space in Thailand at this moment from what I saw. So we looked at primarily new stuff, as I say, almost completed. Some of it was 3 years away, some of it was 2 years away, some of it was 12 months away. And predominantly what's on sale at the moment and what you see most of is variations of one-bedroom condos, variations of two-bedroom condos, and the variation is the floor size. It's all square meters there. So, for example, we might see a one-bedroom 34-meter square condo, which is quite a small spot. And that could go up to 55 square meters. And then you go to a two-bed, and that could go up to 100 square meters from 70. So there were variations. That's mostly what's on sale at the moment, or you can see is the 1 and 2 bedroom variant. So we looked at probably 8 projects over 4 days. We looked at the very top end. You know, if you've seen my videos, you'll see we're looking at probably 6.5 million Australian dollars and down to 100,000 Australian dollars. So quite the variant. But what I would say is the principles apply that the spec, the finish was generally very good between what we saw. Depending on the square meter size, of course, that varied. But the spec was generally very good. A lot of what we saw came fully furnished. So literally buy, move in, buy some food and you're ready to go. Some of it came partially furnished, some with just fit-ins. So that's a really important aspect to think about when you're buying is what do you want? Do you just want to roll up and rock up there into your fully furnished? And the furnishings were impeccable, by the way. We're not talking, no disrespect to fantastic furniture because you can't see behind me. I have a beautiful, fantastic furniture pull-out bed there and it is fantastic. But at this level, you're seeing really, really good finish, really good furnishings. So depending on the project, now, one thing that did vary, and this is going to be very important for everybody, is the accessories to the apartment or the condo in the complex. The swimming pool, the gym, the kids' room. Some of them were out of this world. You'll see some of the videos we post where, a golf room, or interactive golf room, which is spectacular. So if you're there playing golf and you want to dust up in the morning or get limbered up ready for your day, they've got the golf simulator there. Kids rooms, some of the kids rooms were amazing. The go-kart simulators were top drawer. Ball pits for baby kids. There were gyms, there were saunas, there were spas. Of course, outdoor pools and areas, barbecue areas. There were kitchens because you've got to remember in condos, your ability to cook is kind of minimal. You have a small kitchenette, or in a slightly bigger two-bed, you would have a kitchen. But some of them had these grandiose kitchen areas, meeting areas, working areas was big with most of them, but some of them were absolutely terrific. I was blown away with some of the facilities you get. So that's a big thing to think about when buying is, what facilities do you want for your condo? If you just want a simple, regular gym and a swimming pool, well, we can achieve that. If you want something that's offering top-notch, not essentials, top-notch accessories to your condo, then that's achievable as well. So that's a consideration. Location, of course. Now, what we saw in Phuket was a lot of it was based around the Bang Tao region in the Laguna, which is an up-and-coming area, all within 5 minutes of the beach. But interestingly, between developers, you could have one developer 5 minutes away from another, and the price point could be $60,000 different. And you may not see a lot of difference within the complex or within the unit or the furnishings or the finish. So having a broad spectrum of things to look at and understand is very, very important. So you'll see online, if you get into the algorithm like I'm in with Thailand Property Online, you'll be hit up by developers, single developers every day, flogging their single development. And they talk around, return on investment, 12 to 14%, capital growth up to 20%. I think it's a load of crap. And I'm sorry to use that language. I think it's a load of crap. No one's going to give you exacts on property. They can give you a guide for a few years. What we did see is reasonable good growth across Phuket. So Thailand in general has had a bit of a lull since the COVID time. So they're coming back. Bit of a lull again now because the Chinese aren't going for a number of reasons we've talked about before. So all the research shows that at end of 26 into 27, going to see the property rising. However, what we're seeing now is with off the plan, people who bought off the plan 6-7 months ago, people who are coming in now to buy are paying a little bit more. So we are seeing that increase. Now, what worries me, so we saw a lot of great stuff in Phuket. People want to live in Phuket because they love Phuket. You've got an amazing coastline there, all around Patong if you like a bit of a party, but either side of that Phuket Old Town is amazing. You can go inland and buy something absolutely amazing, 20 minutes out of Patong Beach. We looked at some amazing stuff. The price slashed because you're 20 minutes out. People don't want to live 20 minutes out. Now, that might take you 45 minutes in rush hour. If you're on holiday and you don't mind being a little bit further out and you buy a car or you get a scooter, then there's absolute value a little bit further out. Now, so a lot going on Phuket, and I think it's going to go one way over the next 2 or 3 years. So great place to invest, and you will buy there for a lifestyle property if you love Phuket. One thing I did note was that there is an awful lot of building there at the moment. I mean, it was intense how much is going on there. So does that lead to oversupply in 12 months and 18 months? Does that affect costs? So that's something to, for us to do more research on for you. If your preferred place is Phuket, we would do more work there and really look at where that growth's going over a couple of years. Now, of course, if you're buying to use, it's a lifestyle thing for the next 5 to 10 years. That's probably a lower concern. If your only thing is you're buying to it as an investment, then we probably need to spend a bit more time making sure Phuket's right for you. So Phuket overall is very, very good. A lot going on. Very happy with it. I think there's value there now, and I think it's all about viewings. It's all about looking at 2 or 3 options to get a really good understanding of what you're looking for in Phuket and what do those options look like and what are those prices like. Because I think you're going to find a lot of the condos in terms of layout, what they offer are very similar, but also they do differ in terms of all those other benefits I talked about: kitchens, working rooms, saunas and all that stuff. So again, important for us to work out with you what you're looking for, and then we can really pin it down to 2 or 3 and then show you those. So Phuket was a great catch up. We met some lawyers, visa operators, and really optimistic with what Phuket can offer over the next 2 to 3 years. We then moved on to Pattaya. Well, actually Tom came with me. He's my marketing guy. You'll see him on some of the videos in Phuket. He came there and did a lot of that. We then, he had to go home to catch up with his work. I went down to Pattaya. Now, I've never been there before. Now, I'm not going to beat around the bush here because, the elephant is in the room is, Thailand. People associate sex in Thailand and prostitution. Thailand is so much more than that. There's no doubt in that. The Thai people are amazing. That's why I love Thailand so much. The Thai people are just amazing people. It's a great story on my page of I hired a scooter one day, I parked it up, the rain came, I got stuck at a shopping centre. This was in Hua Hin, and the lovely ladies who were working in the massage shops could see my bike was getting drenched with water because the rain was so 6 inches in 30 minutes. So they carried this heavy scooter out of the water and put it in the shade for me, and that just epitomises Thai people. So don't ever get confused with thinking Thailand's cheap in terms of the people. They're some of the best people in the world. Don't ever get confused with the history and the legacy and what Thailand has to offer. However, we know, so I'd never been down at Pattaya before, and I ended up with a hotel because I had to work with some agents there, which was right in the middle of the sex scene there, a place called Tree Town. So I was astonished by it because it was full on. Now, very friendly. You can walk down all these streets and everyone's waving, all the girls are waving. It's not intense, it's not aggressive, but it has a brand. Pattaya has a brand, and it lives up to that brand. I can tell you, it was pretty full on to walk down the streets and see this going on. Now, we're saying that. You can't get away from the fact that there's a lot of men that are not necessarily looking for that, but maybe looking for love in Thailand. There's a lot of middle-aged divorced men, lost direction, lost sense of who they are, maybe lonely. The kids have moved on a little bit, and they're working hard, now thinking, what's my next move in life? Where am I going to find love again? And Thailand is an option for a lot of Western men. Go there, they fall in love and have a beautiful relationship with a beautiful Thai lady. So we're not going to escape that. We're not going to divert around that subject. So now Pattaya is not just Pattaya. There's Jom Tiem just down the road, and a bit further out, some lovely places just going further up the coast. There's an airport there, about 45 minutes from Pattaya, so you can fly in. It's going to be an international airport soon, funny enough. So my assumption is you'll still need to fly into Bangkok. And it's a 2.5 hour jaunt down in a taxi down to Pattaya. We'll see how that international airport goes. Maybe direct flights will go there from Brisbane. I doubt it because we can't get a direct flight to Thailand yet. But it's a place that's expanding. Motorways, infrastructure is expanding. Now, if that razzmatazz of Pattaya is too much for you, Jom Tiem, just 10 minutes away in a Grab or a cab, is a great suburb. It's a fantastic suburb. So away from the razzmatazz, but still bars, restaurants, holiday makers. It's a hive of activity, and there's plenty of projects there. And we looked at some reasonably well priced, and I saw some really fun ones there as well. And then we went a bit further out, like I said, about 15 to 20 minutes out. There's real value there. Projects we saw with that available in about 12 months, 18 months. That, if you don't mind being a bit further out, again, a 400-metre walk to the local beach in a nice little, I guess you'd call it a town, not even a town, 2 main streets, lots of food, activity, but locals, more locals than holiday makers. And that might appeal to a lot of people looking for that quieter getaway. So there's that, there's Jom Tiem, which I think's a happening place. I really liked it. And then right in Pattaya. Now, the thing with that region was there's a lot of secondhand stuff. So if buying off the plan scares you, and in some regard it should, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, if you're thinking, I just want something that's already ready to go, reasonably well kept, maybe furnished, then we can find those as well. There's a lot of product in Thailand, in Pattaya, a lot of deals to be done, a lot of money to be saved. We've got 2 English agents on the ground there. Now this is something else, again, when I should have said up front with Thailand, excuse me, because I'm doing this off the top of my head. Now in Thailand, in Australia, when you list a property with an agent, you'll sign an agreement, and that property has, that agent has the right to market your property for a period of probably 8 to 12 weeks. So no other agent can get involved with that, right? And then after 12 weeks, if they've done a rubbish job for you, you go select another agent, they get you for another 12 weeks, but you're stuck with them. It doesn't work like that in Thailand. So any agent can list any property. So if my guys over there, if you said to me, I want a 3-bedroom condo, got quite a big family, and I want it adjacent to some golf courses, please, Sean. Cool, let me go and find you the best 3. Now, my agents there can go and find the best 3 condos, not just on their books, on anyone's books, which is a really important aspect, because it means I can get you the best of the best, or we can find you the best of the best. We're not limited to just working with one agent with the 20 condos they got. I just need really good guys in each region, because they can go and find anything for us. So that's a really important factor when looking overseas, is that they're going to know the stuff that's been on market for a long time. They're going to know the stuff that needs to get sold. They're talking to all the other agents, and that we can locate those deals, those best properties at the best prices, second-hand as well as new. So plenty of new there as well, plenty of projects going on. So very exciting area, very much a growth area. And I think it would suit, golf is amazing down in the Pattaya region. Retirees would love John TM. And maybe single men looking for love, maybe Pattaya or John TM as well. So I'm not going to ignore that. There's plenty of people looking for that next stage of life. And we're here to help people talk about that and experience that and understand and research that. So so pricing between, I'll talk about pricing at the end, pricing between Phuket, Pattaya a little bit cheaper than Phuket, but didn't see a vast difference in costing, and quality and fit. Again, a lot of 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom stuff there. In the new space, in the project space, new projects. So then, so I had 3 days there, looked at a lot of property. And then I took a cab around to Hua Hin. So if you go on the maps and you look at Pattaya, you'll see a big bay. And north of Pattaya is Bangkok. And then down the other side of the big bay is Hua Hin. Now, I was especially keen to go to Hua Hin because I think it's got a lot of appeal for a lot of people. I love this place. I had 4 days there, looked at 5 projects, some new stuff there, and again, not an overabundance of older stuff, a lot of new stuff there, but really loved this town or city. You had the beach with a lot of cool bars, restaurants. I went in quiet season, so it was quite quiet, but it was quite nice because I could get around and look at a lot of stuff. And then you have the main streets going through town, shopping centres, all the medical facilities, and all these regions, the medical facilities is top notch. You don't need to worry about medical situations there. It's as good as you'll get in Australia. So you've got the beaches, and you've got the main drag with all the shopping centres and stuff. And then you've got the mountains. And Hua Hin is famous for its mountains. It's more famous for its golf courses, 6-7 championship courses there. So I think this is a big market for us to be talking to men about. So again, I talk a lot in my stuff about 2 golf buddies that want to go to Thailand 4 or 5 times a year. Well, you could just buy a condo together. So 2 guys could throw in together, own this condo 50-50, go to Thailand 4 or 5 times a year, play these 7 amazing courses around Hua Hin. And you're only 2 hours from Bangkok, so you can go and play golf there as well. And if you want to get over to Pattaya, you can get over there and play golf as well. But half in the cost by buying together, but still owning an investment property that's going up in value. You get the use off for 7 to 10 years, play a lot of golf. And then outside of the golf, you might want to take your wives there. And Hua Hin's a great place. The food scene, the seafood's amazing. Just a great town. Really enjoyed it. I can see myself there when I've got time to. Want to spend more time in Thailand over the next few years. I could see that being a base for me. I really enjoyed that town, and I think it's got appeal for everybody. Investors, the retirees, absolutely. Golfers, absolutely. So a lot of appeal there. And then went up to Bangkok. So I took a cab up to Bangkok, had 2 days in Bangkok, spent 1 day with our agents there. So I looked at city apartments. So this is for city living. This is for people that love the razzmatazz of a big city, you know, a London, a New York, a Sydney, you know, a Manila maybe. That's what you get to Bangkok. Great food, great theatre, great shows, great shopping. Absolute never sleeps. It's a city that doesn't sleep. And that will appeal to a lot of people. Now we looked at some that had 360 views of Bangkok, an amazing town. I loved it. I had 3 days there. Went to some amazing restaurants. Went to a Michelin-starred Thai restaurant, which was just out of this world. It was absolutely fantastic, but really, really competitively priced. So it has broad appeal, but it would be for the city dweller. It's the person that just wants that razzmatazz, you know, a couple of weeks, 4 or 5 times a year to go to the big city and do that. So who's that appeal to? Maybe retirees, maybe your digital nomad. Maybe it's someone who's he wants to spend 3-6 months of the year working overseas, wants an investment at the same time, wants to own something, and you can do that from Bangkok. So they were the 4 regions. And again, when I look at all regions, I come back saying that the quality of fit-in is really good. It was very similar over every space we looked at. So the next thing I want to talk about is buying off the plan, because we looked at all that, and you'll see in my marketing, there's a lot of buying off the plan. Now, this is so crucially important. In Australia, if you were to buy a property off the plan, so let's go back to the developer. What a developer does, he probably buys a plot of land, and then he has to build, you know, 100 units, let's say. And he doesn't have the funding to buy 100 units. So he goes to a bank, and the bank says, okay, well, you got the land, great. All right, you're going to need to sell 50% of those properties off the plan for us to give you the $6 million you need, $7 million, $20 million you need to complete it. So the developer says, cool, so if I get 50 guaranteed people, then you'll give me the rest of the money to finish the development. He says, yes. Now, so then the developer will say, put ads out there saying, hey, buy off the plan, this is amazing, you're going to make lots of money. You go to the developer and say, hey, I really like this, how much is it? He says, it's going to cost you 900,000 Australian dollars. However, you've got to put a bond down. You're going to have to give us $50,000 to get it going. And then there may be some progress payments further down the road, but you're definitely going to have to put some money down because he needs that money to satisfy the bank. So in Australia, you don't ever give your money to the developer because you don't know the developer, right? They could fail. There's a couple of places on the sunny coast here that have failed recently. They've been taken back over by a new developer now, but the people that bought off the plan, their time extended. They thought they were moving in 18 months. That might be 3 years. Or they just lose their money. If you were to give your money direct to a developer. Now in Australia, you don't do that. You buy what's called a deposit bond. And it's an insurance product basically. So you go to a deposit bond owner and say, hey, I need a deposit bond for $50,000. The insurance company says, who's the project with? And they say, okay, it's this project over here. And the deposit bond insurance says, okay, we're going to charge you $1,000. We're going to give your guarantee to the developer that if he completes it to the spec, to the contract you've signed, we will release the $50,000. That's enough for the developer. If he can get 50 of those deposit bond guarantees that you're going to buy, he can go to the bank. The bank will say, cool, all right, that's really good. We're going to lend you the money. And then he will get the development done. Now, if he doesn't get the development done, you didn't lose your money. That's the insurance product you got. The deposit bond was to protect you from the developer going tits up or for whatever reason didn't get it done. So you come out of it with a loss of time and effort and energy, but you didn't lose money. Thailand, it doesn't work like that. There is no deposit bond situation. You will give your money to the developer, 100% to the developer. So on a new development, if you saw one in Thailand and you went through an agent there, they would come and say, great, yeah, you go on board. We need $15,000. Then in 6 months' time, we need another $20,000 off you. And at the end, you'll settle. Now, what's the risk there? Well, it's all the risk, because if you don't know that developer, you don't know the history, you don't know if they're one of the big developers in the country. Could be a local developer just getting started. Could be what I call a tier 2 developer that's got a bit of history but not great history. That would be enough for me to say to you, the risk level for the potential return is probably not good enough. So buying off the plan can be very effective in Thailand, but we need to know who the developer is. We need to know the history. We need to know where they come from, what they've done previously, to have the faith in the fact that if you're going to hand over your cash, that we know the development's going to get done. So that's a crucial thing. We're buying off the development. Again, something we work with our agents to validate and verify the developers. And I saw that when I was over there. So everything they showed me was developers with 30 years history in Bangkok and putting up amazing projects. Developers have got 8 projects on the go at the moment all over the country. So these are the big boys. These are what we call the tier 1 developers. And that if you're going to buy off the plan, we need to ensure you're buying with these people. If that's too much risk for you, then you buy second hand, and that will be fine. But we need to understand that risk. So again, our job to help you understand that risk and then do the research. So then, okay, so we've done Bangkok, and I walked away from the trip with an awful lot more knowledge than I had before. But I still think it comes down to goals. I still think it comes down to what are you trying to achieve. If we break it down simply, are you looking for a pure investment to get a reasonable rate of return? The rates of return, what they're projecting and the research shows is, 7, 8, 9% per annum over the next 2-3 years, with rental yields of, 6 and 7%. They're really good rates of return. They're very, very optimistic return on investment, both capital growth and income. If you wanted an investment, if you probably want an investment, I think it has merit. If you're looking at lifestyle, then you're looking to hold it for 6, 7, 10 years. Then we don't have to worry too much about, return on investment, of course, capital growth, because we know that I think Thailand's heading this way over the next 3 to 5 years. So the likelihood is you're going to make money. You own a condo, you use it 5, 7, 10 years, you're going to make money, and then you're going to find you're going to sell it, and then walk away with a fistful of money, which would have paid for everything you've gone through that 10 years plus all the memories you made, the golfing, all the family trips. So my overall feeling and outcome was really, really positive. I think there's merit there. So we really need to understand what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and then talk about areas. And then once we understand what you're trying to achieve, what your area is, and we need to look at your budget. And we need to think about what your budget is, what does that buy you, and then kind of illustrate that to you. So once we've gone through that, and we've just done some basics with you of understanding, you're like, actually, I'm really interested now. I don't know what we do next. So we have the solution to that. We have what's called the VIP hub, VIP membership. So for people that have just gone slightly over the point of interest, but they're not sure they really want to buy, I say become a VIP member with us. You'll get access to our VIP hub. In there's a load of educational videos that we put together on the tax treaties, on how it works and the things you need to think about, the different areas. A lot of the stuff we've shot will be in there. The really good property we come across will go in there first before we market it. So you'll get exposure to those things. It's also a place where you can talk to other potential buyers. And who knows, you might meet someone in there and say, hey, you're a golfer, I'm a golfer. Let's buy a place together. I mean, we can do that. It's very easy. So you get access to the hub, you'll get all that information before it goes to market, you'll get all the property stuff before it goes to market. More importantly, you'll get the first opportunity to meet me in Thailand, to go view property. And this is the really important factor, is that twice a year, maybe 3 times if I'm busy, I will go to Thailand and I will do the tour I've just done. I have 3 or 4 days in Phuket, 3 or 4 days in Pattaya and Jomtien and the area, 3 or 4 days in Hua Hin, and maybe 2 or 3 days in Bangkok. You just need to book your holiday around that. I'll give you the dates in advance. You book, you could follow me around the 4 places. If you're intent on buying in Thailand, you might just do a trip with me and follow me around and look at everything and then come back, take a deep breath. But you might just say, well, Sean, I've done my research. I've gone on YouTube. Jomtien looks a great place. I really like that. Okay, I'm going to be there in these days. So plan your holiday. Give me 1 or 2 days when you're there. Me and my team will show you 3 or 4 of the best options based on your criteria and what you want. But you won't be asked to sign anything. You won't be able to do anything. You might want to, but you're not going to be hand up your back, kind of forced to put a deposit down or anything like that. That's not how I work. I'm a financial advisor. If you don't know, I've been doing that for 25 years. It's all about sound advice and education. So by becoming a VIP member, you'll get the first access to meet with a dog going off. So that's a really important aspect to the VIP centre, is getting that exposure to coming to Thailand with me. Now, why is that important? Because you're not going to buy off the plan. You're not going to buy on a phone call. You're not going to buy from a photo or a video. You're going to need to go there, and that's why I have the property roadshows 2 or 3 times a year, so you can meet me there and look at these properties. I think it's really, really important for you to feel, immerse yourself in that, then come back, take a deep breath and say, Sean, I really like that one. I want something like that, or I like that one, but show me something else in the area. VIP memberships will be the stage after introduction and a chat. And there's lots of information I can send you on the VIP membership and how that works and how it's all conducted. And then, of course, you come back, you take a deep breath, you say, okay, love it, I want to buy this one, and then we can put that together. From Australia, you can buy from Australia. Again, we have everything in place for you. So you can go back to Thailand and you can fly back over and do it there in person, but we can do it from Australia if need be. And so VIP membership is very, very important. And education, this is all about education. It's about taking it slow and steady and making sure you have all the information to make really, really sound decisions on what you want to do. Now, in terms of the golf, so we do golf tours as well. I think, again, we will meet you there on your golfing tour. So if you say, hey, Sean, really interested in property inquiry, I've researched on YouTube these golf courses, want to see some more. Okay, well, I'll play a bit of golf as well. Why don't we get 4 or 5 of us, potential buyers and me, take your week there. We do 3 or 4 rounds of golf, and we can look at property outside of that and have a few beers as well. So we can, make sure you have a great holiday, but you can also look at the properties, which was the important factor, right? Getting together and coming together. So we'll be doing those 2 or 3 times a year, but the VIP hub gives you that aspect and that first up option to meet me there. Now, pricing. What can I tell you about pricing in Thailand? Well, people think Thailand's extremely cheap. It's not. It's not. It's not a third world country anymore. This is a hub of activity. It's like, Thailand 20 years ago, people might have visited and thought, it's a slightly third world country. It's not anymore. It's a hub of business and e-commerce and travel, and it's an amazing place, and it's going one direction. It's on the up still. So, we looked at things that would cost you 1 bedroom, unfurnished apartment Hawaiian, which was $55,000. Air conditioned, simple. You put a bed in there, put some furniture in there, away you go. Had a pool and a gym and like a little working area. So it's pretty basic, but that's how at the low end you could get. And then you'll see some of the videos. We looked at stuff at $6.5 million. I think your budget for a lovely 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo is around about the $500,000. $400,000 to $500,000. Upwards from there, they just get better. You can get 2 bedrooms lower than that, $300,000. You can achieve that depending on location and size of the condo and so forth. So I think the budget's in there. Now you look at that budget to Australia, 2-bedroom, fully furnished condo in Thailand, $400,000, $500,000, finished to high spec with all those facilities. And what do you get in Australia at the moment? 2-bedroom unit for, I don't know, $600,000, $700,000, very basic thing. So awful lot of potential there in terms of investment or lifestyle. And as I said, we looked at stuff at $6.5 million, so it's got everything. So in conclusion, because I think I've gone on enough now, I think the roadshow was really, really fun, really good, got a lot of information, met a lot of good people. And the research, as I saw it stacked up, the next step for you guys is to just have a conversation with me. Like I said, I've been a financial advisor for 25 years, so we're not selling here. We've got real estate agents. You're going to deal with a real estate agent directly, you're going to get sold to. You deal with a construction company, project manager, you're going to get sold to. What I'm doing is in between that space for you. So we're managing those relationships, so you're not going to be sold to. You're going to make sound decisions by us, assisting you, working with their good advice, so good legal advice, good property advice, but also us acting as your project manager to ensure that you make really, really good decisions on what you buy. But without any undue pressure, like I say, all you got to do is become a VIP member. You can hang out in there for a couple of years before you do anything. And then the next step would meet us in Thailand and go look at stuff. So that's the roundup of the roadshow. We will be going to market very soon. So if you've seen this video, you've probably seen the marketing, come across this video. Hopefully you want to have a little chat about some of the benefits of investing or buying a lifestyle property in Thailand. So that's it. I hope that was good. It was a bit long, but it's probably the longest one I've cut ever. But I hope you saw some benefit to it. And you just need to pick up the phone, give me a call, flick me an email. And again, I love talking to anybody. So if you've just got some basic questions about buying in Thailand, please just pick up the phone. I'm always happy to talk. All right, enough from me. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll speak again very soon.